Good day to everyone out there tuning in for the Psychology of the Day. Today we'll be discussing Dr. Robert Lee Williams II. The reason he was chosen as the Psychology of the Day is because he is one of many African American psychologists that are not talked about within the school's curriculum, while at the same time being an advocate for civil rights. Personally, without his study on Ebonics, I probably would not be here talking about him in the first place. As I was growing up throughout grade school, I was constantly told that I had difficulty with speech and was placed in speech therapy classes until I spoke proper English. I still suffer from this, but it's not a hindrance on my life. Without any further delays, let's dive into the history of Dr. Robert Lee Williams II. As I was researching his background, there was not a large collection of information about him as there are for other well-known psychologists. However, I did come across a little website called the Encyclopedia of Arkansas History and Culture that has detailed information on his biography. As it states, Dr. Williams II was born on February 20, 1930 in Little Rock, Arkansas. He graduated from Dunbar High School at the age of 16 and went to Dunbar Junior College for a year before leaving. Dr. Williams II worked several laboring jobs before going back to college at Philander Smith College for his bachelor's degree. He graduated from there in 1953 as cum laude. From there, he went to get his master's degree in educational psychology in 1955 at Wayne State University. Dr. Williams II worked as a guidance director at a high school in Mon Bayou, Mississippi for several months until he was hired by Arkansas State Hospital as a staff psychologist in 1955. Later, he went on to pursue his doctorate with the support of his supervisor in clinical psychology at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. He earned his PhD in 1961. After receiving his doctorate degree, Dr. Williams II started working at the VA hospital in St. Louis from 1961 to 1966 as an assistant chief psychologist. In 1968, he became the director of Hospital Improvement Project of Spokane, Washington, and a consultant for the National Institute of Mental Health in San Francisco, California. In addition, he helped organize and funded the Association of Black Psychologists on September 2, 1968, after Martin Luther King Jr. assassination. He served as the president for this association from 1969 to 1970. Dr. Williams II's inspiration for becoming a psychologist was not fully realized until Dr. King's assassination and his own experience in the civil rights movement. He went back to Washington University as a psychology professor and started an African American Studies program as its first director during the 1970s up to the 1990s. Dr. Williams published a paper in the American Psychological Association in 1972, describing the results of standardized testing that was exhibiting racial and cultural biases. He then published his well-known study on Black linguistics practices in 1973, coining the term Ebonics. His other works include Ebonics, the True Language of Black Folks, The Collective Black Mind Towards an Afrocentric Theory of Black Personality, and Racism Learned at an Early Age Through Racial Scripting, 2007. Though some people do not take his research seriously and use his findings for racial and economical belittling, Dr. Williams II and his studies demonstrated that there is a divide among cultures within America. I believe his main message within his studies were to tell people that people may be different in appearances, but we are not inferior to one another.